After working with over 400 lifters, I've seen the same patterns over and over and over again. And if you don't fix them, you'll stay stuck in the same place, you'll stay stuck in pain, you'll hit plateaus, or never reach your full potential. And trust me, I've been there too. So I'm not just pointing fingers, like I'm also taking the blame for my stuff too. I've made these same mistakes when I was younger, and if I would have learned these things much sooner, I could have saved myself years of setbacks, years of frustration, and honestly, there's no telling where I could have been right now had I not done these things. So, before we get into it, I want to know, what's your biggest struggle right now? Is it pain, strength, mobility? Drop it in the comments below, and if I have a resource for you, I'll send it on over. So, pain is not an injury. Pain is a signal. Okay? I want you to know that, and I want that to be one of the key takeaways. Pain is a signal, not an injury. So, what most lifters get wrong about pain is that they treat pain like a stop sign. If something hurts, they panic and shut everything down. Or that's what your doctor told you to do, right? But pain is not a stop sign, it's a check engine light. It's a signal that something's off, but if you just ignore it or turn off the light, i.e., you're doing ice, you're doing heat, you're doing scraping, you're doing dry needling, you're resting, you're not actually fixing the actual issue, you're just ignoring it or not pissing it off, right? If you don't drive your car, things aren't going to happen. But whenever you go to turn that car back on, the problem is still there, right? So that's the same thing with pain. We want to treat it like a check engine light, not an actual stop sign. So if, for example, if you've had knee pain while squatting, I want you to do this quick test. So say you have knee pain when you're going down, okay? I want you to adjust your stance, either wider or turn your feet slightly out. Allow your knees to track over your toes. And if that instantly feels better, your pain wasn't from your knee. It could be coming from your hips or your ankles, okay? So this is just a quick way that we can see, hey, you know what? This is a check engine light, and I'm checking that engine right now. Instead of just being like, yeah, no, knee pain, it sucks, I'm not going to lift. So try that. Let me know how it feels. Drop it in the comments below if that did help, okay? So I want to show you I guess, case study, if you will, of a client that came to me with knee pain. So she had pain. Doesn't mean she was broken. Doesn't mean she had an injury. She just had knee pain. So her name's Sarah. She came to me convinced that she completely effed up her knee, right? She was doing heavy squats, started to feel pain. She was conflicted. Okay, she thought maybe she wanted to keep pushing. Her doctor said not to. Listening to the doctor, she was about to quit squatting completely. Okay, but when we actually looked at her movement, we found the real issue. Her hips were stiff as hell, okay, which was forcing her knees into a bad position. Our bodies are so great at making the movement happen, whether that's like a solid movement pattern or if it's compensating. Our bodies are going to take the path of least resistance. They're going to make that movement happen. It's just a matter of like what's getting more stress than it should, and what's not being stressed as it should. And so for Sarah, what we did was we literally didn't touch her knees at all. We found that there was no problem. We, again, literally found that it was coming from her hip mobility. So we improved her hip mobility. We adjusted her stance. And literally within a couple weeks, her knee pain, her injury, was gone. Okay? So this is just a key premise of like, pain does not mean that you're injured. It means maybe you just need a better strategy. Maybe you need that check engine light to actually be checked, right? You need to find the root cause. We've talked about this in multiple videos. Whereas like, if I only treated Sarah's knee for the knee pain that she was feeling, I guarantee that pain would have come back in a couple weeks, right? We would have lessened the load. We would have worked on her knee. We would have done all these things, and that pain would have come back, which to me, it either tells the person, hey, you know what? My knee is so bad that this didn't help it. Or, hey, you know what? Maybe I am getting too old to keep lifting the way I want to keep squatting, to keep doing all these things. That doesn't just affect that movement, right? It's not just like, hey, you know what, I'm good. Eventually, you start getting frustrated because then you feel like you're just broken. It maybe keeps you out of the gym. If you can't do squats, which is your favorite lift, then I'm not going to go at all. Okay? So it's not just that one movement. It literally can affect your health. It can affect your life. It can affect, like, you playing with your kids, going on a hike, going, like, if you live on the ocean or near the beach, maybe you don't go surfing. If you live in the Midwest with all the lakes, maybe you don't go like wake surfing or wakeboarding or anything like that. That's just one example. Like, I know for me, like, I like doing that stuff with my friends in the summer, but if my knee that I've had surgery on, if I let that thing dictate my life, I wouldn't do that stuff. I wouldn't go have fun. I wouldn't make those memories. And so the pain that Sarah was feeling, it doesn't just affect that one movement, right? It can trickle down into all areas of life. So again, it is super important to get to the root cause, because if you don't, you're just masking, you're just band-aiding symptoms, and those symptoms are going to come back and you're going to get frustrated. So get to the root cause, but then also know, like, pain doesn't mean that you're injured. It just means like your body's just wanting some extra attention on something. And so you got to figure out what's going on. Okay. Second lesson is strength in rehab is the most overlooked fix for pain. People who are strong, sure, you know, if you're pushing like 1 rep maxes, if you're constantly pushing heavy weights, like, you're probably going to feel a little beat up, right? But the people who train sustainably and they are strong, they're the ones that don't get as sick, they don't get as injured. Strength is literally protective, okay? So most lifters who struggle with pain keep chasing mobility, stretching, massage guns, but they never actually address the problem. So you can't just do the one thing and expect the pain to be gone. What we have to do is we have to find an order of sequence. We have to find the specific, I guess, sequence for you that makes the most sense, that helps to get that long-term pain relief, okay? So we don't want to just stop at mobility. We don't want to just stop at like the feel-good stuff. We want to go past that. So the order that I like to take things in, I like to do mobility, stability, movement prep, and then get strong as hell. Okay, so those are kind of the order of events, if you will, that I like to take someone through. Sometimes people don't need as much mobility as much as they need stability. Maybe they do need like a stronger low back. Maybe they need stronger XYZ muscle group, right? And so for me, you have to get strong, and that is the most overlooked part of rehab. You can do the mobility, you can do the stability, but if you're not actually translating that into the things that are going to actually prevent the pain and injury down the road, you're just doing mobility without strength, which is useless. You need to be able to you need to be able to train your body to control the positions under load. So we have to have the strength, we have to have the full mobility, we have to make those little muscle groups super happy with stability work. We have to do it all, which is what I'm saying. And I know that's not sexy. People like the quick fix. People like the one thing that's going to fix all their problems. It's just not like that. Okay, we have to have a few different things. We have to have a robust plan in order to actually prevent these problems from coming back. So, that's the second lesson. I want to tell you about a guy. His name's Larry. He's a CrossFitter. He dabbled into powerlifting. He was having back pain with a deadlift. He wasn't having pain until he hit about 500 pounds on deadlift. So, a couple things here. We saw there's some kind of load intolerance, right? So he didn't have pain at like 480, 490, but once he got that 500, boom, pain started setting in. So again, that tells me that there's some kind of load intolerance. He wasn't tolerating that 500 pounds. That's when his back would start hurting. But when I watched him deadlift, we started off 135 and worked our way up. taking the normal jumps that he would normally take. So what I saw that his hips were super high and that he was lifting with his back. Okay, form was a little off. When I asked him if he could get lower, he could not. Okay, so then what we did, we watched this deadlift and then we went into a specific movement assessment. So we checked the back, we checked the hips, we wanted to see what was going on. And his hips were super tight. Literally within that same assessment period, so like within a couple days, I had him try a couple drills and legitimately he started lifting again, 500 pounds, no pain. So for me, looking at your form, looking at your videos is super important because it can tell you what's going on and then you just need to dig a little deeper. Okay. So for him, we did a banded hip mobility, which is one of my favorite drills for anybody with knee pain, back pain, tight hips. We like to do that. If you have trouble like getting to the bottom of the squat, starting position on deadlift, I like to hit this. Okay. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to improve his range of motion and then continue building strength in that bottom range because he wasn't used to it. So for Larry, what we had to do, we had to improve the motion, but then we almost had to scale back a little bit on accessory work. And like we could hit the top set, but we wanted to really maximize him using his glutes to push through the floor on that deadlift, getting those hips lower. And he almost had to retrain a little bit, but he was much stronger in a few weeks, in a couple months, than he ever would have been had he not fixed this issue, had he kept lifting with his back. And who knows what kind of injury he would have had. Okay, so I guess that would be the third lesson is like, you need to video your lifts and you need to look at them. And if you have no idea what you're looking at, either have your coach do it or find someone you trust. Me, I'll take a look at it and we'll figure out what we need to do from there. Because videos are literally just such a huge game changer when it comes to figuring out why you're in pain. It tells us exactly what's going on in that movement, in that moment, where you can be like, yep, I remember I had pain right there, right at that second. We can go back and look at it instead of just being like, yeah, no, like I pulled, it felt like shit. I don't know where, I don't know what it looked like. Like we need to use those videos, okay? So, some key takeaways. If you're dealing with pain, ask yourself, are you actually strong in that position? Are you even able to get into that position? If not, we have to not just strengthen, we have to mobilize. We have to do all the things in order to tolerate those positions, those movements, things like that. Okay. Fourth lesson. More effort does not equal more progress. So lifters love to grind. But the biggest mistake I see is that people push through pain. They are going to failure too often. And that was me. I wanted to go in and try to hit a 1 rep max every single day. I'm not even joking. That was how I lifted. It wasn't until I found that sub-max work actually worked more efficiently and didn't beat the shit out of my body. So, don't push through pain. Don't hit failure too often. And don't sacrifice longevity for short-term ego lifts. That's exactly what I did. If you're constantly getting banged up, it's not because you're not working hard enough. It's because you're not working smart enough. Okay, so we want to make sure that, we are still giving all of our effort, but we're doing it in a sustainable way and not just trying to go out there and grind. If you're tired, maybe take a day. If you're beat up, take a deload. You're not going to lose progress in a day, in a week, in a couple weeks by just taking care of your body. If anything, it's going to slingshot you forward. Okay. So I want to know if any of these are resonating. Do any of these make sense? And which one is the one that you're struggling with the most? Drop it down below. Okay. So I want to tell you another case study about a CrossFitter that I had who just kept getting injured. He was one of the strongest lifters that I've worked with, but he had a problem that he kept pushing through pain. I don't know if you know this, people who do CrossFit tend to be kind of stubborn. People who powerlift, do Olympic weightlifting, or lifters in general, we're just all pretty stubborn. So This guy, he kept pushing through the pain. He was ignoring like warning signs, and eventually his body forced him to take a chill pill. So what we did, most people would have been like, you know what? We're gonna just not lift, right? We're gonna pull you out of the gym. We're gonna figure that out. Like we're gonna make you rest, and then we're gonna figure out the pain, right? However, with this guy, what we did was we started modifying his training instead of just grinding through the pain. Okay. Instead of hitting deadlifts from the floor that were causing pain, we did rack pulls so that we could stay strong. We dropped the weight a little bit. We did tempos. We focused on not pushing through the pain. We wanted to respect the pain, but we still wanted to get strong. So, we did the tempo work. We did the variations. We focused on recovery. We focused on moving in the right direction. We focused on the things that he needed to focus on that were specific to him, right? There's no YouTube video that would have been like, hey, this is just for Jake, right? This is something that was specific to him. So he not only stayed injury free during that process, but he actually got stronger because we actually listened to his body. We stopped grinding. We actually did things in a smart and sustainable way. So if you are dealing with pain, here are some things that you can try. They're not specific to you, which, you might need that to be the case. But what we did and what I've done with a lot of lifters is if we're having pain at a certain point, like my first guy, Larry, we were having pain at that 500 mark. If we found that there was nothing wrong with his movements, he was just having pain, a load intolerance, what we could do is we could actually reduce the load to a load that actually did not cause pain, and we could adjust the tempo. So we could, instead of doing just a normal deadlift, we could go slow on the way down on the eccentric. That just makes that so much harder. We could do a pause, like a mid-shin pause, right? 2 inches off the ground. There's so many things that we can do to respect the pain, keep the intensity high, but also allow your body to heal from whatever's going on, if it even needs to heal. Like I've said before, pain does not mean injury, so take that with a grain of salt. But if you are dealing with pain, reducing the load, adjusting the tempo, that's one thing that I like to do, using pauses, okay? We can also use a pain-free variation, so using box squats instead of full depth squats, floor press instead of bench press. We can try dumbbells over a barbell. We can do rack pulls. We can do landmine presses instead of a single shoulder head press or overhead shoulder press. So we can use these variations that maybe switch things up enough that is allowing your body, again, to respect the pain, but still get stronger in the process, right? You're not going to get stronger if you're just constantly busting through pain or trying to push through pain. We want to actually get stronger by training smart, listening to our bodies, okay? So if you take one thing away from this video, remember, pain is a signal. You don't need to ignore it, but don't just automatically freak out and think that you have an injury either. Good rehab, should include strength training, okay? If something hurts, don't ignore it, don't rest it. Let's figure out ways to keep training. Let's figure out what we can do to make that training pain-free, okay? Whether that's mobility, stability, adding in tempos, things like that. We need to figure that out, okay? Get to the root cause of the issue. You're going to get tired of me saying that because I truly believe that is the only way to get past pain and injury, okay? And remember, training smart beats training hard because the longevity wins in the end. So if you're stuck, drop me a message on Instagram, comment down below. We're going to get you back to moving the way you want to, hitting PRs, hitting your best performance, looking the best that you've ever felt. But we got to stay in the gym to do that. Okay, we got to get to the root cause. So if that's something that you are ready for, shoot me a message on Instagram and we're going to get you moving. All right. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one.